Hello and welcome to my Home Energy Hacks talk. The idea of this presentation is to talk through some simple but effective ways to improve the energy efficiency of your home. So these DIY hacks aren't time intensive and don't involve large money investments, so putting them in place can be a productive way to spend some lockdown time. All of these tips that are suitable for my house I've implemented myself, so I can share from my personal experience that I've saved money and my house is definitely warmer than it would have been in these chilly temperatures we're experiencing at the moment. So first off, LED light bulbs. Having LED light bulbs is one of the easiest and cheapest ways to cut some costs out of your energy bill at home. For maximum energy efficiency, every bulb in your house should be replaced with LEDs. So why should you do this? Research shows that an LED light typically uses 90% less energy than an equivalent incandescent or halogen bulb. As a rule of thumb, if you have a 50-watt bulb, you'll be able to replace it with similar performance in terms of light output with a 5-watt LED bulb. So although a bit more expensive than your average light bulb, LEDs have a general life expectancy of 50,000 hours. So if you use your light for 10 hours a day, they should last 13.7 years. And you can compare this to standard fluorescent halogen light bulbs whose average lifespan can be a lot less than this. So some of the benefits: can fit all light fittings, even strip lights. They produce a variety of shades of light, such as daylight and warm white. In my house, I've used the warm white for living areas and bedrooms, and the cool light for bathroom and kitchen. They come on instantly, so there's none of the slight delay or flickering that you often get with older styled low energy bulbs. They generate little or no heat, making them safer alternatives to hotter bulbs. So this is one way you can work out what bulbs you currently have. You can take the back of your hand close to the bulb, and if it's giving off a lot of heat, chances are it's not an LED. You can save up to £140 a year by changing your old light bulbs to LEDs. And another way you can identify if you already have an LED is if it has a frosted glass appearance and you can't see a filament inside it. So smarter showers. Having shorter, less powerful showers is another easy and cheap way to cut some costs out of your energy bill. Power showers work by taking in cold mains water and heating it instantly to the desired temperature, just like an ordinary electric shower, but they also use an electric pump to increase the pressure. So you can see in the graph on the left why power showers use the most water. An electric shower, rather than one connected to your tank, is often an unexpected major consumer of electricity in your home. For example, 25 minutes spent daily in a 10 kilowatt shower could cost £182.50 annually. So that could be the average for a family. Top tips: time your shower, keep your showers to no longer than 5 minutes, and use a shower timer to remind you. Do not run your electric shower before you get in, as there is no need. Use a less powerful setting, such as an eco setting, to reduce your water use, or swap your shower head for an aerated one. And fix drips. Over time, the water that escapes from a dripping shower adds up, and you can get this fixed to avoid needless water waste. So energy monitors. Personal energy monitors enable you to view your real-time electricity usage in units of energy used, cost, or carbon emissions. Some have additional features, such as allowing to set daily electricity usage targets or alarms to alert when you have used a set amount of electricity. So most energy monitors are made up of 3 parts: a handheld display, a transmitter, and a sensor. Energy monitors are designed to help you keep track of your electricity usage, discover how using different appliances affects your energy bills, and ideally help to cut your electricity consumption. So top tips for energy monitors. It's easy to confuse them with smart meters, as the display unit looks similar. However, a personal energy monitor helps you to understand your electricity usage, whereas a smart meter sends information about your usage to your energy supplier instead of you providing meter readings to them. So you can purchase a personal energy monitor like the one pictured for £40 and install it yourself, whereas a smart meter is free, but you have to wait until your energy supplier visits your area. So they were meant to be rolled out by the end of 2020, smart meters, but now because of coronavirus, they've extended that to 2024. So there's another 3-4 years it could be until they come to Arran. So I personally have one of the personal energy monitors on the left there, and it really helps me to see what the big users of electricity in my house were, including my heating and hot water as well. So some of you may or may not be familiar with a chimney balloon. You can get a chimney balloon, a chimney umbrella, or a chimney sheet. Often overlooked, but an open chimney is an equivalent to an open window for heat loss. You can see on the thermal image there on the left, that heat is escaping up the chimney when there is no fire on. That's just heat loss from the house on a house on iron, so they could definitely do with a chimney balloon. So fitting a chimney balloon or similar is like fitting double glazing in a window with a small vent to allow for ventilation. They are for use when your fire is not in use, and they include a tassel which will remind you to pull them out before lighting a fire. Even if you do forget to pull it out, there is no fire risk, as chimney balloons are made of a special material which makes them deflate and melt when in contact with heat. So aside from energy saving and draft minimizing, they also prevent soot, dirt and birds from entering when the fire is not in use. Insulating hot water tank and pipes. This is another really easy way to save energy and money. Although many people like to use the cover to dry sheets, this is actually a very expensive way to do so. Your tank is one of the biggest energy users in a household, which is no surprise when you think about how you're paying to keep a body of water above 70 degrees Celsius all year round. So if you already have a jacket fitted around your tank, you best check the thickness, as it should be at least 88 millimeters thick. By also insulating your exposed hot water pipes, you'll keep your hot water hotter for longer. So check which diameter pipes you have to find the correct size of insulation. They're usually 15, 22 or 28 millimeters across. And unlike space heating, you do need hot water all year, so you will save money by insulating your tank and pipes even in the height of summer. So some top tips for this. Pipe insulation improves heat retention within the pipes by 4% annually, which allows you to lower your water temperature setting. By adding an 80 millimeter thick tank jacket to an uninsulated tank, the heat retention will improve by 20%. And a hot water tank jacket and pipe insulation together only costs around £20, so its savings are very worthwhile. A heated clothes horse. So again, some of you may or may not be familiar with these. You can use a heated clothes horse to dry your clothes. These are great in between if you usually use a tumble dryer or find your washing takes quite a while to dry on a standard clothes horse in the kind of damp conditions we have here. So they have a mains plug, can hold 10 to 15 kilograms of washing at a time, and some versions are collapsible to save space or come with a cover to improve the efficiency. Please note that when clothing is dried inside, it should be in a separate and enclosed part of the house, such as a utility or spare room, and this space should be heated as well as ventilated to allow moisture to escape and air to circulate. As you can see, it does produce quite a lot of moisture into the air when you dry clothes inside. So top tips. The average tumble dryer costs around 36p per hour to run, compared with around only 6p per hour to run a heated clothes airer. The purchase price of a tumble dryer is around £200 compared to around £50 for a heated clothes airer. You should again always dry clothes outside when possible in summer months, and if there is no nearby window or extractor fan, you can purchase a mini dehumidifier and place it by your clothes horse. Stove, thermometer and fan. So a lot of people on the island do have a multi-fuel stove or a wood burning stove, so these come in really handy. A stove thermometer that you can see on the right there indicates when your stove is burning at its most energy efficient and optimum performance. It shows when your stove is overfueling, as each stove is rated to specific kilowatt output, and attempting to raise this with more fuel will at best just waste the heat, but at worst it will decrease the lifespan of the burner. It will also display when your stove is being underfueled, as running your stove too cold will cause an ineffective draw, blackened glass and carbon monoxide slumping down the flue system. So a heat-powered stove fan, which you can see on the left, increases the efficiency of your multi-fuel stove or wood burner and circulates the hot air around your house more effectively. They are self-powered, so no need for batteries or electricity. Therefore, they're pretty quiet and have a self-regulating speed according to the temperature in the room. So the benefits of these both are: a magnetic stove thermometer costs just £10 to £15. A stove fan costs around £25. and together they're ideal for a room that gains most of its heat from the wood or multi-fuel stove, like the living area. Downlight covers. So you can install downlight covers above your spotlight fittings on your top floor, and ensure the insulation then goes over them. They're made from a self-extinguishing and flame retardant material, and some of the benefits are they cost between £5 and £15 each. They restrict heat loss to your loft, they reduce drafts from your loft, they minimise sound travelling between the floors, and they stop dust and beasties getting into rooms. So insulate and reflect. So I find the heat loss diagram on the left really useful when prioritising what part of your house needs insulated. As the focus is DIY, I won't go into loft insulation as this is not always possible and there isn't really a low cost substitute. Walls are the primary source of heat loss in your home, with up to 35% of your heat escaping from there in an uninsulated wall. So applying insulated wallpaper is a cheap way to fix this. So you can apply it to the inside of your exterior walls at a fraction of the price and disruption compared to internal, external or cavity wall insulation. Make sure to buy the heavy duty paste that is recommended alongside it, and then you can wallpaper, paint whatever colour you want on top just as normal. Then up to 25% of heat loss can be from windows and doors. So a simple solution is buying thermal curtains for your draftiest or largest windows. During the summer months, these window coverings will actually block out the sun's heat, so keeping your house cooler. And then in the winter, they can stop the heat escaping through seals and windows. They can also help soundproof a room. To minimise the 15% heat loss through ground floors, some cheap and cheerful rugs on well-walked, non-carpeted floors can help keep your feet and rooms warmer. And finally, you can maximise your radiators by applying radiator reflector foil behind them, which you can see in the images there. Your radiator radiates heat both into the room and into the wall behind it. So if the wall is colder than the air, that can mean the majority of your expensive heat is heating up the wall rather than the room. So reflectors help prevent heat from being wasted by reflecting the heat back into the room. And the walls where radiator reflector foil will make the most difference is in exposed areas of the property where the radiator is situated on an exterior wall, especially under a window, which is really common. So changing energy supplier. Electricity suppliers are increasing in prices at quite an alarming rate, and unless you produce 100% of your own electricity, there isn't much we can do to change this. The easiest option is researching different electricity suppliers to find the ones best suited for you. While doing this, use your estimated annual usage from your current supplier to calculate your standard rate, and make sure to calculate how much the standing charge will cost you per year, as this charge is simply for you choosing their company and is not related to how much electricity you're using or the cost of it. So some top tips for a changing energy supplier. Although more expensive at the time of purchase, fixed rate prices for a year or two are a safe option, as no one can predict how much other tariffs will increase over the time period. Don't be afraid to look at electricity suppliers outside the big six, which are most familiar. They're shown in the chart to the left, the big six. Make sure that a cheap tariff is not being subsidised by an expensive daily standing charge. This is quite common in the adverts to encourage you to switch supplier. And some suppliers such as Bulb and Octopus offer free credit for use of referral codes. So check with friends and family for their recommendations and they could help you switch. And finally, everyone is familiar with the fact that draft proofing is one of the easiest and cheapest DIY jobs to cut some costs of your energy bill at home. However, it still is often overlooked. It's a simple concept: stop warm air from getting out and cold air from getting in by creating a seal in between. It's estimated that installing draft proofing measures in an average UK home could save the household £60 every year in heating bills. I have created a checklist that you can see there for drafts to help you identify areas you may have missed in your house. However, remember that your home needs to be ventilated in the correct way, so never cover extractor fans and always leave trickle vents open. And you can see from the photos there just a standard draft excluder across the door and the difference that makes. That concludes my energy hacks talk. I hope you benefited and have some new DIY ideas for the next couple of months that should save you some money and make your home more comfortable. please email me on charlotte.ecosavvy@gmail.com if you would like assistance in where to purchase the solutions mentioned. However, any company's products or recommendations sourced from this are to be used strictly as examples and are not official endorsements from EcoSavvy. Thank you very much for joining.